Me again. What we've got here is this Ford Focus cluster that a customer has sent. He's had a go at trying to repair it himself and completely ruined it. I will demonstrate what it's doing. So if I plug it in, there's quite a few telltale signs to show that a customer's messed with the cluster. First of all, you see this here, that's a broken LCD display. If I just turn the power on, see these needles? They should finish at 0. So that one's wrong, that one's wrong, that one's wrong, and that one's wrong. That display is completely destroyed, and that happens when you pull the casing apart. There's some tiny little pins, and when you push it back together again, the pins force the LCD against this casing and break the LCD. These are no longer available. Now we can't see how many miles this has done, but what I have done is if I go over here to the registration of the vehicle, I've brought the registration number up. I've actually got the EEPROM information for this cluster, which I am going to clone into a replacement cluster that I've just repaired. So what we're going to do, we're going to pop this open. Let's just turn the power off. That will be in the scrap yard, and then this one, as you can see on the back, we have our information there. It's basically saying if there's any faults, it is not the cluster. I'm going to plug this one in. We'll fire her up. Okay, we'll fire her up like this. Right, so just turn the first stage on. As you can see, the vehicle's done 155,000 miles, nearly 156,000 miles. But as you can see with the needles, okay, that's where they should be. Now these are calibrated on a machine that I've got in the van. Now what we're going to do is we're going to clone this to the other cluster's information, and then it'll be plug and play. So what we need to do, if I come over to the computer, we get out of this. If I load Ford OBD, and what I want to do is load my file. So I'm going to turn the ignition on. Okay, so the ignition's on. Don't worry about all the warning lights. Now I'm going to load the information, and it's in desktop, and it's the registration number of the vehicle, which is this one there. So that's the one I'm going to load into this cluster. Now this one's done 155,000 miles. I'm going to open this. Okay. This one's actually done a lot less. This is in kilometers. So we're going to go automatic. Okay, now I'm going to load it. So that's the information on this one, but as you can see, it won't allow me to write it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the information first off of this cluster. So it'll say checking the CAN. It can't find the CAN network because it won't be able to, because it's not on a network. I'm going to go yes. This switch is off. See this flashing away there. So it's now talking to this cluster, which is the donor cluster. Takes a little while. Once it's read it, it then should allow me to load the information in and write the information from the other one into this. Takes a little while. Now I've already saved this information down in this bottom corner, so I've already read it. So I've got the backup file, so read EEPROM, and then it should bring up, there we go, all the information of this vehicle. So the clusters come back on. There's the VIN number, the mileage, of this cluster, all the key identifications. So what I want to do is I want to load this one again, EEPROM open. So that now is the information from this one. Okay, so we've got our VIN number, the model ID, the keys, the crypto keys, the lot. Now what I want to do to this is I want to write, and it'll ask me, do you want to write all the information? So odometer values only, immobilizer data only, or the whole EEPROM. We want to do the whole EEPROM because this is a clone. So I'm going to go OK. It'll check the CAN. No traffic. Yes. So what it's going to do now is it's going to load the information from that other cluster into this one, and we should then see the mileage of this cluster and all the key information on this cluster here. Takes a little while. Currently, the Mark III Focus is too new, but the software should be available at the end of the month for me to clone the Mark IIIs as well, which would be quite useful. I'm developing that, and I'll do a video of that start to finish, cloning 2 Mark III clusters across. That's all the latest Fords, which is really handy if someone's actually broken their cluster, or the cluster itself is dead, which happens a lot. So it's right in the EEPROM. So this donor one had 155,000 miles. This one is a lot less. Just have to wait for it. It takes a while to do the writing. But the most important is the key ID, the crypto key, and the ECU sync information. That makes this a plug and play. So all the customer will need to do is plug it back into the vehicle and then just run a code reader to clear the codes, because obviously when this is fired up, it can't see the other items on the network, so it throws up a code. So you just have to just clear the codes and it'll work fine. Okay, so writing EEPROM, done. So that now, there we go, is that information done. So if I get out of that, okay, and if I go to this now, just turning it that way, there we go, and there's the mileage. So that is this one. So all the information in this cluster is now in this one, and it's ready to go back, and it'll be plug and play. The worst thing that I may have to do is what they call a PATS sync, which is any scan tool will do it. You plug it in and it just lines up all the modules. It depends if the ignition has been turned on while this cluster has been out of the vehicle. The rest of the network will not see the cluster, and it'll have to be resynced back into the vehicle. But all the rest, all the information, all the keys will be lined up, and it'll work sweet as a nut. Okay, thank you for watching.